The Game Time app. Man, I love the Game Time app. I have used this time and time again. So once again, I'm always trying to give my friends and introduce them to my friends over at Game Time. Look, it's November. The NBA Emirates Cup is starting. We have the UFC in the year calendar, getting late in the football season. It is the best time of the year for sports, but so much more. So why not go and do some of that stuff and use the Game Time app to do that? All you got to do, use my promo code DCTV to get $20 off your first purchase. I don't care if you're watching basketball, football, UFC, concerts, comedy shows. It doesn't matter. It covers everything at the Game Time app. So once again, punch in that promo code DCTV when you're signing up, and we will give you $20 off of your first purchase. Game Time has been rocking with us for a while, guys, so we need to support them. And it works. I love the Game Time app. DCTV to save $20 off of your first purchase at Game Time. Let's go. All right, guys. So I wanted to wait a couple days before I talked about the Jon Jones interview with Kevin Iole. Obviously, there were some key points anytime Jones kind of starts to make his way back into the mixed martial arts world. It's big news, as it should be. But I didn't get to listen to the interview in its entirety. But clearly, I heard some of the clips, saw some of the Instagram posts, saw some of the things that he said in the interview. The one big thing, and Lou, you can throw that direct comment in the chat for me, was his stance on fighting Tom Aspinall. You know, there's this thing, right? In the heavyweight division right now, where you have these two guys that are universally considered two of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. No one can deny that. No one can say that this fight should not happen. And a lot of that is based on the fact that these two have accomplished just about anything you can in the sport of mixed martial arts. They're both champions. They both got multiple defenses. Clearly, Jon Jones has more than Stipe Miocic, but both of these guys have really cemented themselves as two of the best to ever do it. And when you get that as a chance to make a fight, as an organization, I feel like you have to do it. But the black cloud, right? The shadow has been Tom Aspinall. Because Tom Aspinall, while Jones has been injured, while Stipe has refused to fight anyone but Jon Jones, has been fighting. And he's become the interim champion, and he's been winning. But I think the biggest issue for these two, and the reason the general public is in such an uproar, is because of the way Tom Aspinall's been winning. If Tom Aspinall was fighting, even with the rest of the division, and he was decision here, split decision, everybody would be like, okay, well, he might not be on the level of these guys yet, because he's even with these dudes who we have seen time and time again not be able to compete with those dudes. So we don't really need to see it. But for Tom Aspinall, it's been knockout, 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 right? He has just destroyed these guys. And Jones made a point about Tom knocking out Sergey, but then Sergey losing again to Volkov. But I don't know that that point was as relevant and didn't not hit hammer home the point that he was trying to make as much as he might have intended. So Jon Jones said on Tom Aspinall, he said, more than likely I will not fight Tom. Kevin asked about facing Aspinall. I feel like Tom Aspinall is, and I don't want to say nobody, but he hasn't proven anything. He hasn't done anything. I'm not here to gamble on someone else making a name off of me. That's the first part of the thing that I will break down right quick. I'm not here to run the risk of someone making a name off of me. Shogun had to fight Jon Jones back in the day. Rampage had to fight Jon Jones back in the day. Those guys were big names that fought him as the young guy that was the champion. And he made a name off of all those legends so that by the time I got to him, He was a legend. He was a legend already in 2016, 15. He was already a legend in 5 years. But that was only because he had beaten all those great guys before. It really is the tale of sport, right? The tale of entertainment. Before Michael Jordan could become Michael Jordan, he had to go through the Detroit Pistons, who were winning in the 80s. He had to beat the Boston Celtics to get to the finals, who were going back and forth with the Lakers. The old guard has to get passed through for the new guard to happen. So for Jon to say he's a nobody, but is he really? He's a world champion. He's the world champ. Honestly, that's who he is. He is the number 2 heavyweight in the world. He's the interim champ. He's not a guy that's just working his way through the division. He's a guy that has smashed the division. I think my biggest issue with that is that final statement, though, not giving him an opportunity to make a name off of me. But you're Jon Jones. Most people would still expect him to beat Tom Aspinall, or am I wrong? Are more people expecting Tom Aspinall to beat Jones? Tell me in the comments, right? Tell me down there in the comments, because maybe I'm off base. Maybe the idea is that Tom Aspinall is going to beat Jon Jones. Look, Jon Jones isn't afraid of Tom Aspinall. I wish people would stop saying that. He is not afraid of that guy. He's not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid to fight this guy. He's not. I think he's trying to be more strategic. I think he's trying to make sure his legacy stands. I don't know how it could ever be faded. I mean, we do have short memories, but could you ever forget what he did? I don't think him fighting Tom Aspinall with the potential that he would lose is a bad thing. But as most would expect him to win the fight. But at the end of the day, the old guard has to get passed through for the new guard to go, unless you don't play the sport by the way that everyone else does it. Everyone else does it that way. Maybe Jones will be different. He went on to say, if there is a fight with a guy that is still on the UFC roster that would be not only financially worth it, but legacy worth it, it would be Alex Pereira. Guys, no shit. Alex Pereira, for all that he has done, still would seem to have that one glaring hole in his game. Jon Jones is a junior college national champion. Jon Jones is recruited by all the biggest universities in the country. He would just wrestle him, as we saw him do with so many strikers at the beginning of his career. He would just wrestle him. So yes, financially it would make sense, and it would be much less risky because of that glaring hole in the matchup. I don't know if Alex Pereira can defend takedowns against the best guys. He's wrestling Glover. I'm sure Glover's teaching him how to defend takedowns. I'm sure Glover, who's a tremendous wrestler himself, hasn't prepared, but I don't know how he will do in live action against a truly elite level high wrestler, because Jan Blachowicz isn't, and he was able to take him down effectively. So yeah, Jon would prefer that matchup because it's much less risky than fighting Tom Aspinall. He said the UFC light heavyweight champion and I are both 37. Right now I weigh about 235, which is very smart of Jones. I thought last time he was way too big. He did not need to be that big to fight at heavyweight. I think Pereira walks around at 240. Pereira walks around at like 232 for the record. We have seen that. I think the fight would go much farther on my legacy than a young man who's cool today and may be gone tomorrow. So it feels like he's almost dismissive of Tom Aspinall and what he has done. Tom Aspinall has not had the opportunity or the chance or the time to build his resume to that point yet. Sounds to me like Jon's not willing to let him build that off of him. It's not due to fear, though, guys. I don't think he's scared. Is there a worry that he could lose that match? As I read, it sounds more and more like it. But it's not because of fear. It also is a question, can he go deep like he used to? Does he want to go where he had to go to beat Alexander Gustafsson when times got super tough? To dig deep to beat Dominic Reyes, and to dig deep to beat Thiago Santos, to dig deep to be able to put in the work that it took in order to beat me twice. Does he still want to do that? All these quotes tell me is that he doesn't really feel like the juice is worth the squeeze, right? He said Tom Aspinall, one of the biggest wins he has over Curtis Blades, and he beat Sergey. But then Sergey lost to Volkov, as I pointed out earlier. Volkov went 25 minutes with him, I believe, or 15 minutes with him and beat on him. And Sergey showed how tough he is by withstanding that punishment. Tom Aspinall got him out of there in a round. That's the power of Aspinall. That's the danger of Tom Aspinall. Now, would a Pereira Jones pay-per-view sell more than Tom Aspinall? Absolutely. So financially, he does have a point. That is the biggest money fight for him with the less risk because people now know Pereira. But at the end of the day, you have the heavyweight champion who is nipping at the bud, who's weighing in New York. That's the craziest thing. Tom Aspinall is weighing in New York City as a backup fighter, and I don't doubt for 1 second that if anything happens, neither one of those guys will step in the octagon with Tom Aspinall. It's the weirdest, craziest thing. Crazy that he's going to get down to weight. Tom Aspinall has put in a training camp, but I think there's about a 0%, 0 to 5% chance that either of those guys ever fight him. Now, John maybe just negotiating publicly. I'm not doing it. UFC comes up and goes, we'll give you $10 million to do it. He goes, okay. We don't know that. We don't know. But these are all questions that arise after Jon Jones does one interview. And also while he's on the verge of a massive fight against Stipe Miocic, who, by the way, I think it's neck and neck. I really believe this is going to be a much more competitive fight than people are giving Stipe Miocic credit for. This fight is going to be close. Very close. Very close. This fight will be very close. As Luis just texted me, Ariel said it'll be 50-50. I hadn't even seen that. I think this fight is going to be very close. Much closer than people think. So maybe we pump the brakes on the Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones thing, because what if Stipe wins? Sounds like it's his last fight. He's riding off in the sunset. But man, these are big fights and matchups in the heavyweight division. It's good right now. And it's good with some all-time greats and a young guy that is looking to make his mark. Question is, will Jones give him an opportunity? I don't know. But like I said, it's not because of fear. I would believe that he's negotiating publicly, trying to get more money, make the UFC go, I need this fight because you guys want it so bad, and they give him a number that he can't refuse. What do you guys think? Please, guys, let me know what you think. I think a lot of you guys believe Jon Jones is afraid of him. I don't believe that. I refuse to believe that a guy like that is afraid to fight another man. Hell, I'm not even training, and I'm still not afraid of these dudes. Because why would you be when you have the skills that we have? It's crazy. Guys, have a great weekend. Thank you for supporting the channel as you are. Hey, next week, big week of check-ins. Stipe, Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, Bo Nickel, and Chris Weidman. Lot of big check-ins next weekend. Busy week on the channel from New York City. I cannot wait. Guys, like, subscribe, tell your friends about DC's YouTube channel. Until next time, peace.